Hello, everyone. Uh, I had a dream about Tom Cruise, and it's very prophetic. Um, Let me share with you something real quick because I think it's imperative to understand why I'm sharing this dream. But I've shared dreams on my Facebook page before, even on YouTube, and then one of them is about Kanye West giving his life over to God. And I'm not a fan of Kanye West. I've never been a fan of his. I've only heard of him. And so one day I was praying and I just gave a prophetic word and I shared it on YouTube and Facebook. And to be exact, let me go here and see when it was, what year, because um let me see. I'll go ahead and share with you how long ago it was. It was 3 years ago. 3 years ago. And just recently, about 6 months ago, you hear about him giving his life to God. He's on fire for God, and he's even having concerts in honor to God, singing to God. And so I make these videos not because I'm looking for people to follow me or to like me or because I want to have so many subscribers. It's because we need to know who are our prophets among us. It's very imperative. Because we do have prophets. We have false prophets and we have good prophets, men of God who have been appointed by God. And many of them might not be prophets. They might not be consider themselves prophets, but they have the gift of prophecy. And so, and this is the reason why I make these videos, because whenever I feel God gives me a dream, a prophetic dream about someone or something or some type of event, or whether he gives me a word of knowledge, I like to share it on Facebook so you can get to know who I am, because it's imperative during these times or any period of our lives, who are our prophets among us, because they're needed. They're very they're important in our lives, because God, speaks to us when God, wants to get a message across, a very important message. Not that His word is not important, but whenever there are events that are going to take place, um you know prophecy is just it's one of the important aspects in a Christian community. So here I am in this dream. Let me share this dream I had about Tom Cruise. In this dream, I'll let me tell you when it was given to me. This dream, it was April the 27th, no, the 25th. And so in this dream, I'm walking with my wife, and we happen to be like in this huge resort. I didn't see no people around, and there were different pools. There was several pools, and as we're walking, you know, uh, the pools, the water happened to be dirty, right? And but then we ran into Tom Cruise, and we're talking to him, and he feels comfortable talking to us because we are treating him just like any other ordinary person. We're not trying to get his autograph, or we're not all excited because he's a movie star. He feels comfortable, so we're treating him, just like a normal person. So he feels comfortable talking to us. But then I find myself talking to his niece. But let me stop there real quick because, see, I don't know anything about Tom Cruise other than that he's a famous actor that makes good movies. And I like him as an actor. I don't know anything about his, siblings, his nieces. I don't know anything. I don't keep track of that. And I just want to, make that point because in my dream, his niece happens to be there with them. So my wife is talking to uh, Tom Cruise, and I'm talking to his niece. I don't know any details about the conversation, but then I remember that she said, "You're ugly." Something in between those lines. And I was shocked. But then she told me, "No, not you, him." And when I looked to her side, like behind her, I see her boyfriend, right? Next thing you know, I'm looking behind Tom Cruise into the distance at the skies, and they're pitch dark. And then I see this like black tar cloud. It was dark, and I'm just looking at it, right? And then I point to it, and I'm telling Tom Cruise and my wife, and I said, "Look," and I'm just baffled by this cloud, this dark cloud behind them. And so I wake up. That was the end of the dream. And so I started to search, on Google regarding Tom Cruise and his niece. And I found an article that's very interesting that I want to share with you. I'm not going to go through it in details, but something about Tom Cruise is that he's into Scientologists. Now, this religion is very demonic. And if you break away and if you dare to talk bad about them, they'll hunt you down. They'll harass you, they'll spy on you, and man, it goes beyond that what they do to you as an individual if you dare to say anything negative about them when you break away from their religion. And so here I am looking at this article, and guess what? It's talking about his niece and her niece's boyfriend. And I'm not knowing anything about this. That's why, I share these videos because, you know, later on, I'm sure I'm going to share more, other, dreams or prophetic word that God gives me about something or someone or an event. So if you have any doubts about this, go back 3 years ago. You'll find a video, me giving a prophetic word over Kanye West, Miley Cyrus, and Jamie Smith. And lo and behold, just spent like roughly 6 months now that uh, Kanye West gave his life to God. I would have not known that. I don't have no access to Kanye West. I don't talk to Kanye West. But anyways, let me get back to this dream. In this dream, his niece. Let me go over here. Let me move my camera a little bit this way so I can read the article. But his niece is also involved in Scientologists. And what happens with his niece is that she does something. She commits a sin that banishes his niece across country because of the sin. And I'm going to read it to you. It says, in a new tell-all interview, one former Scientologist has come forward with some shocking insight into the goings on of the church, the Scientologist church. One very intriguing, uh, and a very intriguing, he claims he makes is that Tom Cruise kicked his own niece out of their family and sent her across country to do penance for her sins. In other words, supposedly this is self punishment, right? In other words, she asked for this self punishment, but I doubt it. I mean, she's a teenager, right? Um, oh, but let me share an important point of this dream. And this dream, I remember when I'm talking to his niece, I don't know where I say, you know what? You must be like in your 20s. And she said, yeah, you're right. Why was that important? Because when this article was written, she was around 16. You fast forward 4 years, she's around her 20s. She's maybe 19, 20. That's a very important piece of the dream because in this dream, it goes on to say, I mean, in this article, it goes on to say the sin is in question. That was her sin. She kissed a boy. Kissing a boy. She was 14 years at that time. So when this article was written, she was 14 years old. Maybe when this happened, you know, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, Who knows how long after this article was written? But at that time, she kissed a boy. She was 14 years old, so she is, right on her 20s. But this article was written um 4 years ago. No, I'm sorry, 6 years ago. It was written. So if you fast forward 4 years ago from this day this article is written, it's she will be 20, right? But who maybe this article was written, maybe a year after this happened or 2 years. Nevertheless, she's in her 20. And then it goes on to say that the former member who has come forward is Nick Lister, who has been banned from Scientology. Nick describes how 10 years ago he came to know Tom's niece, Jamie, when he worked as a teaching assistant at Scientology's school in Clearwater, Florida. Nick says that the two were really, really good friends, and he noticed she was always just very upset. In an interview, Nick, now 27, explains one night she breaks down crying. She had talked to her mom earlier that day, and she said, I really want to be back with the family. Because one thing about Scientologists is that they isolate you from your family. That's what they do. Um, so that's why she's requesting to go back home. Unfortunately, her mom was not in a forgiving mood. Nick added, I think she has seen her mom once in 2 years. Jamie had to petition to her family to allow her to move back home, but her uncle Tom rejected her several times. This guy is deep into Scientologists. Tom Cruise. Nick explained her offense, saying she made out with a boy on Tom Cruise's property. It was caught by the cameras. Security, all Scientologists. If you don't believe me, ask Katie Holmes. They report to Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise decided it's becoming for a Scientologist and is trying to do such a thing, and he kept her from family functions. He continued that it wasn't the decision of the church to send Jamie away from her family. That's a lie. Let me say that again. He continued that it wasn't the decision of the church to send Jamie away from her family. Whether it was or not, we know that he banished his niece to across the country for this sin, kissing a boy. Um, so I'm just gonna stop there because in this dream, Tom Cruise not only appears in my dream, but his niece. And in my dream, she appears as Tom Cruise's niece. But not only did Tom Cruise's niece appear in my dream, but her boyfriend. And then I come across this article, and uh, the main people in this article is Tom Cruise, his daughter Jamie, and her boyfriend. They all play a big role. And so, I'm praying, I'm asking God, what's the meaning of this dream? Okay. I think there's going to be an exposure. I think Tom Cruise. See, before I continue, I didn't hear an answer from God. Does say the Lord either? Okay, but based on what I studied, based on what I looked on, I investigated, and based on symbolic meanings behind certain objects, I'm gonna give you the interpretation because a black cloud in the Bible refers to judgment. Okay, I believe that Tom Cruise need is gonna appear again. I believe wherever she's been banished, she has been sent off for this sin that she committed. I believe she's gonna appear again. But I believe that when she appears, Tom Cruise is gonna be exposed. It's gonna be exposed big time. And it's gonna open a big investigation. Not only Tom Cruise, but I think it's gonna expose the Scientologist false religion for what it really is. Um Best, according to my research that I've done, according to the dream that I was given, this is my assessment. So just pray about it. If you have any information regarding what I'm talking to you about, share with me. But that's my interpretation of the dream. I mean, I don't think there's any coincidence that God gave me this dream, and lo and behold, I come across this article that's speaking of his knees, and it's so interesting because God gave me a important piece of the puzzle. Her boyfriend happened to appear in the dream, and lo and behold, the dream is about the article is about her boyfriend, her and her boyfriend, and but the key element here is that she has been banished. There's another article that actually uses that word banished, that she has been banished by Tom Cruise. Let me see if I can find it. Mm, well, you know what? Just type in Tom Cruise knees, or just type in Tom Cruise 20-year-old knees, and you'll find a few articles. But that's my interpretation of the dream. Tom Cruise is gonna be exposed, and his day of judgment is gonna come, and it's gonna be revealing the his involvement of her being banished. I think it's gonna be more to it than her just being, banished to this from being banished. I think there's gonna be a lot more to it than just the fact that she has been banished from because of her sin. I think there's gonna be a lot more behind it that's gonna open up a big case that a lot of people are gonna be in shock of of what Tom Cruise has done, what he has been involved in. Not only that, but the Scientologist um, religion, I think they're going to be exposed as well. So look, I prophesy in faith and in part. All I know is that I had this dream, and then I read this article, and it's interesting because it talks about the niece and the boyfriend. So I'll just leave you with that. Pray about it. If God has given you similar dreams about this event, share it with me. Let me know what you think, and God bless you.